Hello everyone, my name is Lily, and for this assignment, I have chosen the topic of poverty in the United States. As one of our topics discussed throughout our 8-week course, poverty was one of the social problems that particularly stood out to me as I was able to see its implications on the United States as a whole. I believe that poverty is an important topic for not only college students to learn and care about, but all members of society as our attitudes and behaviors towards poverty directly affect everyone in our lives. This could be as simple as somebody carrying the stigma that the reason poverty exists is because people are not willing to work hard enough and are lazy. The discussion of poverty throughout this paper also brings to light a few subtopics, with one being subminimum wages. Subminimum wages can be defined as wages below the federal minimum wage paid to a range of employees, such as people who will receive tips for their services, students who are working for a vocational education, and employees whose abilities to perform a job are impacted by an injury or mental disability. Additionally, the topic of poverty also investigates how the U.S. government can try to prevent the poverty rates from rising. In an effort to do so, the government has implemented a few assistance programs, such as the Supplemental Security Income and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. Furthermore, when looking at the causes of poverty, it is especially important to examine how a person's education level puts them at a higher or lower risk for poverty. Firstly, a major component of poverty in the United States are the detrimental impacts that it has on children. According to the American Psychological Association, approximately 16% of all children in the United States currently live below the poverty line, which is higher than the percentage of people who are over the age of 18 and live below the poverty line. Being born into poverty automatically puts a child at an extreme disadvantage, setting them up for increased risks for hunger, subpar childcare, behavior problems, and more. The article includes a statement on the research that has been done to establish a link between children who live in poverty and their enrollment in schools that are typically under-resourced and lack the right tools to create and develop a well-rounded individual. Secondly, a few of the U.S. government's responses to the COVID-19 pandemic helped steer families away from the poverty line. An article published by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities discusses how the American Rescue Plan's child tax credit, as well as additional stimulus payments, allowed for the child poverty rate to drop to 5.2%, which proved to be the largest drop in child poverty rates measured in 1 year. However, the article speculates that with the aid of stimulus payments coming to a halt post-pandemic, they expect the poverty and child poverty rates to increase once again. Thirdly, similar to above, it has been evident that poverty rates have increased since the discontinuation of government assistance due to the pandemic. Without the help from the government in a failing economy due to a global pandemic, many households across the country struggled to make ends meet as the cost of living increases. According to Ben Castleman and Lydia DePillis, authors of a New York Times article, Poverty Rates Soared in 2022 as Aid Ended and Prices Rose. If you were a family of 4 with a yearly income of less than $34,518 in 2022, you were considered poor. Comparing this to the year prior's poverty line, there was a $3,065 increase. The first statistic I was able to find on poverty was the United States poverty status in the past 12 months from the United States Census Bureau. Of the entire country's population, there are currently 12.6% people living below the poverty line. Additionally, I was able to find another statistic surrounding households that utilize food stamps and or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. Of the 129,870,928 households in the United States, approximately 12.4% utilize SNAP and or food stamps. The last statistic I researched was the poverty rates for Black individuals in the United States. According to M. Schreider, author of Poverty Rate for the Black Population Fell Below Pre-Pandemic Levels, the poverty rate for Black individuals decreased from around 20% in 2020 to 17.1% in 2022. After finding these statistics, the statistic that I was surprised to hear about was the poverty rate for Black individuals. I was pleasantly surprised to be informed that it had decreased from prior years and has made me speculate as to how they were able to decrease the rate. With the $100,000 in 1 year to complete my research surrounding poverty in the United States, I would first find subjects to study in a common space, such as a grocery store. I would create a survey for the participants to complete, asking how much they spend monthly on groceries and roughly what percentage of their household income goes towards groceries. The survey would also include questions about how many children and dependents they have in their household, if they reside in a single or dual income household, if they utilize any government assistance programs such as SNAP, as well as questions surrounding their subjective opinions on the prices of groceries. After completing the survey, I would gift them a $100 gift card to the grocery store to persuade them to participate in the study. I think the only part of the survey results that I would be able to predict are the subjective opinions on the price of groceries. As we've noticed, the cost of living and prices of everyday items has increased tremendously, and I think a majority of people in the United States struggle to keep up with the price increases. After getting my data, I would send any leftover funds to the local food shelters and homeless shelters to increase the number of resources offered at the shelters for the following weeks. To expand upon my work in the fall of 2024, students in the Contemporary Social Problems course can take multiple paths of action. One option would be to follow up with the same survey at the same grocery store to see if the results have changed since the findings in the summer of 2024. I expect the difference in findings to be small, given the small time frame. However, the student can continue to offer the survey throughout the following months to possibly see a larger change in findings. The students can also contact local government members to determine what their course of action is to decrease the poverty rate and persuade them to allocate additional resources to poverty assistance programs as needed. To discover additional information, the students can even reach out to Worcester State University faculty regarding Thea's Food Pantry in the Student Center. Researching Thea's Food Pantry will give the student a better understanding of the food assistance that Worcester State University offers to its community. Thank you.